So on the stage a few years ago, we announced that we were open sourcing Kickbox. That's Adobe's Grassroots innovation kit in a box. It looks like this. It gives employees funding and permission to pursue any idea they have without executive involvement or pre-approval. And it actually comes with a prepaid credit card in the box to guarantee you don't have to get approval. It is a pretty crazy idea. It also includes a 6-step process that lets our employees go out and engage directly with customers without going through product management, without going through marketing, without going through sales, and test that their idea is interesting, to go out and validate the value proposition of their idea with those end users before they come back and pitch it to management. And then they can use the data they gather from our users about the value of the problem to make that pitch to management. It's a pretty wild approach, and a lot of people say it can't possibly work like that. But it does, and it's actually pretty easy. So since we open sourced it, it's been getting a lot of attention, which is fantastic. Makes my mother very proud, see me in Forbes. But the thing that excites me the most is how other companies have gone to kickbox.adobe.com, downloaded the free kit, and then adapted it into their own context, into their own organization to meet their own needs. For example, Cisco downloaded it and deployed an innovation process based on Kickbox to all 70,000 of their employees worldwide, and over half of their entire employee base engaged with that process, and they generated 1,100 new ideas. MasterCard generated over 700 new ideas, and they actually had a different approach. They put a handle on it and put it in a cool plastic box. They called it Idea Box, and they're using it to develop new technologies and also new ways to reach out to consumers in the third world to educate them about finance. Everybody has made their own adaptations. Companies like Swisscom, phone company like Vonage did an orange box, and others choose to go with the standard red box look. And it's really fun for me just to open up emails and people send in pictures of what they've done and how they've modified the Kickbox process. And I've actually incorporated ideas that other people have had about how they saw implementing Kickbox into how we do it at Adobe. So I love just seeing people figuring out and doing innovation on their own with this process. But it's not just technology companies. Caterpillar, a company that's over 100 years old, in heavy machinery, out of their first Kickbox innovation group inside of Caterpillar, has come up with their first consumer product in the 100-year history of the company that's going to be available in retail outlets within a year. And they haven't told me what it is yet, but they tell me I'm going to want to buy one at Home Depot. So I'm excited. It's also been localized into Dutch, so you can go online and download that. So people have been localizing it actually into a bunch of languages, and you can go and see online at the Kickbox site. So Liberty Global, the cable company, has deployed a Kickbox-based process. They call it the Blue Matchbox. And they actually created a Shark Tank-like competition where people competed for prize money with new ideas. One of the ideas that they came up with that I really liked was a mobile app that if your cable box at home stopped working, you could download this mobile app, point your camera at your cable box, it would analyze which box you have and which lights were on and work automatically with the head end to resolve the problem without you having to call anybody. It's a pretty cool idea. So seeing companies do this is neat, but even more exciting is maker spaces and hacker labs adopting Kickbox-based process and putting it in the hands of students so that they can go out and develop their ideas quickly and validate with end users. And here's the University of New South Wales in Australia also using this process to validate new ideas. So that's just a quick look at what's happened since the last time I was here with this process. If you want to take a picture of any slide, you might want to take a picture of this one. That's the Kickbox address, so you can go to kickbox.adobe.com. You can download the full kit. Please don't send me emails saying, could you send me one of the red boxes? Because our red boxes at Adobe are made by Kinko's for us. And the file that we send Kinko's that they use to make the boxes is exactly the file you're downloading. So you have everything we have, everything Kinko's uses to make our boxes is in there. And then you can go and adapt, you can localize, you can change it. And I encourage you to adapt it to the context of your organization. So one of the most exciting things is not just the universities using this, but also non-governmental organizations. So we have charities, people like Peace Corps experimenting with Kickbox, people like St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and other fantastic causes using Kickbox process to go out and innovate. But in all of this, what have we learned? Ultimately, trusting your people with their ideas is powerful. And putting that trust into action by putting a small amount of funding, some permission, and some resources in your employees' hands and saying, just go do it. Go get the data and find out if your idea works before you come back and pitch is a powerful concept that can mobilize entire organizations. So since we've launched this and actually open sourced it now so that everybody can do it, great things have been happening. We've been getting a lot of recognition, of course, around innovation, which is terrific to see. The other thing is being innovative inside your organization not only can make you more profitable, more responsible to customers, but it can make you a better place to work. And so we're seeing lots of nice recognition about being a great place to work. But here's a challenge for you. Why aren't you adopting Kickbox in your organization? Because I have people come up to me all the time as I talk about Kickbox, and they say, well, it can't possibly work. I can't do it in my company. There's all these problems. So let me give you a few of the things that I hear all the time as challenges. I think of these as sort of excuses as to why people aren't innovating inside their organization. But what if my company won't do Kickbox? What if you won't give me permission? Well, Kickbox was designed to be an innovation program that works inside an organization without an innovation program, because the organization doesn't have to do anything to support it, and the organization doesn't even have to know about it. In fact, when we first deployed Kickbox at Adobe, the managers that it was working with didn't know about it. We just taught the employees how to do it. And we've seen now many examples of employees inside organizations where their own boss doesn't know that they're using the Kickbox process. They come up with a new idea that's not in their job description. They go out and pitch that new idea to executive management, get funding, and take that product to market inside a company that's never heard of Kickbox. So if your company won't adopt it, it doesn't matter. Stop standing around and waiting for somebody to give you permission. There's a process, just go use it. Now I hear this one a lot. We don't have any budget for innovation. When I hear this, what I'm hearing is it's not so much that you have a budget problem, you have a priorities problem. How many of you work in public companies? Public company? Yep, good number of you. So Adobe is a public company, and let me share with you a trick that I use to try to reframe that conversation a little bit, because almost weekly I hear, we don't have budget for that, we can't afford that. Here's what I do. Periodically, I go online and I look up on the public stock market site our company's balance sheet. It's publicly available for any public corporation. And I look under the column that says cash and short-term negotiable securities, right? How much cash does Adobe have in the bank right now? It's published quarterly, so anybody can go and see it. The latest one is actually a few $billion. Things are going well. So we have a few $billion in cash and short-term negotiable securities. So every time, weekly, when I hear, we don't have enough money for that, my answer is to pull up that site and say, we have billions of dollars in readily available cash. It's not that we don't have enough money for that. It's that we are not properly prioritizing. Maybe we're not making the case correctly to go and pursue this idea. So we're already spending money, but are we spending it on the highest value things? Well, maybe, maybe not. Maybe we could spend it on more important things. And then I hear from people, innovation just isn't part of my job. I have a lot of work to do, my boss is counting on me. Innovation's not part of my job. Well, a lot of companies, they say innovation is part of everybody's job. I find that a little bit dangerous, because when you say that, it becomes nobody's job. So I think that people need to self-identify and decide that they want to be an innovator. So people say, all right, but I have a day job. I have work that my boss is asking me to do. How do I now start doing this new idea that I want to pursue? Because I'm going to get in trouble if I don't do my day job. And that's absolutely true. People are going to expect you to deliver on your day job, and if you stop doing it, they're going to get upset. However, there's a key way around this, which is to figure out something that's higher value than the current job you're doing. Because if you're not the CEO or very close to the CEO in your organization, I can guarantee you there are things that your organization needs done or could have done that it's not doing right now. And if you can figure out what those things are, you're no longer seen as somebody who's not doing the job we assigned them, but actually stop doing that to do something far more important. So as long as you're upscaling the value of what you're doing, as long as you're demonstrating that you're generating even higher value than your assigned job, the company will figure out a way to enable you to keep doing that. You just need to understand the context of the organization and the priorities and goals within the organization. So set a higher target than your current job and pursue that. So a few weeks ago, I was being interviewed for one of these, best workplaces in the world things that's going to be announced later today. And so it's very flattering for Adobe to get those kind of awards. And the journalist asked me, so Mark, how did you get your dream job? And I kind of stopped. I was a little surprised by the question, because in my mind, I'm sitting there thinking, I only slept 3 hours last night. I have a crisis deadline on Monday. I'm going to be working all weekend to deliver a new project. Our pixel shader code is crashing. We have a bunch of different issues, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get executive buy-in for the crazy new idea that we're doing. So my first response was, why do you think I have a dream job? And the journalist said, well, you just seem so happy. And she was right. I have never been happier having those problems and executing against those problems. They are hard challenges. So when we talk about what's your dream job, we're not talking about being the same thing as what's your dream vacation. It's very, very different. For me, my dream job is not a dream vacation. For me, really my dream job is spending thousands of hours pouring love, sweat, and tears into a pile of technology that will never love me back, except through the impact it has in the lives of people that use it. To me, that's exciting. It's the kind of hard problem that gets me up in the morning and keeps me awake late at night trying to solve it. Is it a happy thing? Sometimes, when we succeed against overwhelming odds. Often it's a frustrating thing. It's a challenging thing. It's a grinding against a big challenge. So for me, that is the nature of my dream job. But I want to do a little bit of truth-telling about dream jobs. I think there's a lot of fantasy out there about dream jobs that's just not true. First of all, you cannot apply for a dream job. Most dream jobs aren't just sitting around waiting for somebody to fill them. They were created, and they're there for the person that they were created for because that person made them happen. So there's no listing, there's no recruiters calling to hire you for that dream job. And that's because dreams don't exist unless there's somebody there to dream them. So you have to start dreaming what that job is and make a plan to get to that end result. So you have to design and build your dream job. Next, it's not about the money. How do I know that? Because I know people that are rich and still unhappy. It's also not about the people or the place. Having great people to work with and an awesome place to do it in with a ping pong table, a foosball, that's really neat, but that does not make the core satisfaction and meaning of your job. And at worst, it can be a distraction from the fact that your job is not feeding your soul. Getting free food and having arcade games to play at work is not feeding your soul. Maybe distracting you from the fact your soul is not being fed. So it's great to work with people that you like, but don't let that distract you from the point that you need to be doing something that matters to you. And the last thing about dream jobs is they expire. They always expire. So to the extent that I have a dream job, it is always changing. So the longest period at which I've been in a role where I considered it my dream job was 14 months. And then things change. I have to change my role. I have to basically fire myself from what I'm currently doing and then shift to something else. Sometimes that entails a risk. Sometimes that entails a bunch of extra work. But it's not a constant state of being that you can be in. I have a dream job and it's just going to be this way forever. I have never seen that. The world is changing, our jobs are changing, and so dream job is something that you continue to work toward and to stay on top of. It's a constant balance. So, Let's just take a look at designing a dream job. Now, I can't speak for you. Everybody's different, so I'm going to tell you what I think of as designing a dream job. And if you disagree or you have other thoughts, please feel free to tweet me, and let's talk about it. But I think it breaks into two groups, and there are 3 requirements under each. The first group is what you're going to be doing, and the next is how you're going to be doing it. So there has to be a mission that you're passionate about. I cannot get excited if I'm not passionate about the broad mission of what we're doing in my work. Next, there has to be a hard customer problem, and it needs to be customers I care about. I'm just not coin-operated enough to solely want to do something because it's profitable, but our customers really don't care. I want to do something that matters to customers, and that is what makes me satisfied in my work. And last, under the what section, you have to choose something that is an organizational priority that matters. There are lots of things you could do in your company that are not on the top of the list of things that are keeping your CEO awake at night. But the closer you get to that list, the more engaged you're going to be in work, and you'll also find the more resources you're going to get, the more attention, both favorable and negative sometimes, that your project is going to get, is be close to the center of the organizational priorities that matter. All right, now let's look under how. How do you do this? So when you're doing these things, how do you approach it? You need to do it outside your comfort zone. This is important. Push outside your comfort zone. And you have to do it near the limit of your abilities. That means that sometimes you're going to fail. Sometimes you're going to fail. That's just the way it is. You have to take a conscious risk in this direction. And last, you need to develop targeted new skills. You need to be thinking every year, what new skill do I need next year to be growing into the person I want to be, to have the capability or the ability to have the impact on the world that I want to have? What is it? Is it AI? Is it e-commerce? What thing do you need to learn for you and your position and your vision that's going to help you go there? You have to be constantly developing yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. And so when you're developing these targeted new skills and you're exercising them, that's personal growth. You're driving personal growth, and to me, that's incredibly exciting. Getting good at new things. Resting on my laurels is when I start to get unhappy in my work, dissatisfied with what I'm doing. So I have to always be challenging myself to rock forward. Now, if you're a CEO or a manager, you might be sitting out there saying, look, maybe I already have my dream job, maybe not. I would just love if I could get some employees to show up and actually do their work and turn it in on time. That's my dream job. Okay, I hear you. But maybe some of the challenges that you're having are that you don't know the secret to recruiting dream employees to deliver those kind of dream results. We've all been on that team that just works. And we've also all been on that team where even the easiest things get hard. So here's what leaders do. Leaders, great managers, you need to create dream jobs. That's what you need to do for your people. If you want people that are delivering, create dream jobs that do that. So this is the superpower of true leaders. They craft dream jobs. And then they go out and find perfect dreamers to fill those dream jobs. So as leaders, it's up to us to be dream whisperers. That's what we need to do. And in fact, part of my dream job is creating other people's dream jobs and then celebrating as they are awesome at doing that, fulfilling their potential in that dream. So let me just leave you with a quick example. Imagine a typical help wanted ad. Hey, I need a technical writer to do a manual for some drawing software, pretty typical thing that I could need. And you might get a description like this, but here's the challenge. Is that anybody's dream job? Maybe, I don't know, I'm not gonna judge, but it's hard for me to see that being somebody's dream job. So when I recruit somebody into this position just because I need work done for pay, show up, do your work. Are we gonna change the world? Are we gonna discover new things? Are we gonna have a higher impact on our end users' lives than we otherwise would? I think not. I don't think we're going to do that. So how could we reimagine this? Well, I can tell you right now the kind of problems that I'm thinking about. My daughter is 7, almost 8 years old, and she's now at that age where we stop believing that we could be artists, right? We all believed. We drew things that looked amazing to us, and we loved everything we made. She is at that age when she starts to scribble out, right? She's going to say, what do you think of this? Do you like it? I don't like it. I don't think it's good. She starts to judge everything she does. Most people stop believing they can be an artist at the age of 7, 8, 9, 10. In fact, if I look at something that you draw, if you're not an artist, I can tell you usually within the year what year you stop believing you could be an artist. Because you are frozen in time. You went to sleep. You stopped believing that you could do this. So who do I want to hire? What's the dream job? How about somebody that could communicate and connect with an audience, reawake sleeping dreamers, people that no longer believe they could be creative, that they could be an artist, and make them believe again? That could be somebody's dream job. There's a compelling mission, and it requires documentation, interface, and everything else. But if we can make that connection, we can have a huge impact on people. We can have a huge impact on their belief in what they can accomplish and how they see their world. And that, for the right people, can be a dream job. So as leaders, create dream jobs. As a team member, make sure you're in a dream job. And if you're not, be working toward one. And if you can't see one near you, fire yourself. And go find a job that can be your dream job. Thanks. Thank you.